Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and finally in my hands is Orcish Bowmasters. By the time you're seeing this, this card's been out for 2.5, maybe 3 weeks, but by the time I'm recording it, it's shortly after release. The loan bots still don't have them. I took the plunge and purchased a set on my own because I figured this is important to get out there. This card's a big deal in the format right now. And one of the challenges that all Legacy players are faced at this moment is, what is the best shell for this thing? What existing archetypes can hold it? And what new archetypes might build up around it? And my first brew challenge is from Patreon subscriber Rob, who wanted this in an Esper shell to start. At the time I'm recording this, Grixis is emerging as the front runner for best new Bowmaster supporting archetype. But Esper's been on my mind for a while, and I found a pretty cool starting list from Magic Online user Unlucky Monkey. And I took that list and made some changes to it. Basically, this is a low-to-the-ground tempo deck featuring Esper Sentinel as a way to draw extra cards while you keep your opponent squeezed on mana with Wasteland and Daze. Unlucky Monkey's build had Delver of Secrets in it, which is a card I don't really love in my Swords to Plowshares decks, but I've had Faerie Mastermind in my head alongside Orcish Bowmasters ever since I read this card for the first time. These two, basically anytime you have 2 mana up, your opponent will never be able to ponder safely, brainstorm safely, forget about it. Every cantrip, every extra card they draw is going to have to come with a caveat of, you should probably have a removal spell alongside this thing. And Faerie Mastermind's activated ability, each player draws a card, triggers Orcish Bowmaster, which doesn't really recoup the card, but it does give you some incidental advantage when you do that. The bad news is every single creature in this deck dies to Orcish Bowmasters, which I suspect is going to be sort of a new thing we have to think about whenever we register any creature. Like, does this have more than 1 toughness? Because playing around Bowmasters by not drawing 3 cards in turn, not shoving Brainstorm into 2 open mana when you have things you don't want to die, is something you can play around, but this gets the first ping for free, just on enters the battlefield, deals 1 to something. Pretty good stuff. And that's where the supporting cast comes in. The original build of this that I found had 3 Invasion of Gobakhan and 4 Hymn to Tarok. I've trimmed down on those numbers because our 2-drop slot is pretty chunky already with all these payoffs. And I've turned them into some Spell Pierces and Thoughtseizes in the main deck. But Hymn to Tarok, undeniably powerful Magic card. I still love having a couple copies of that. And Invasion of Gobakhan is a really cool card. One I have not played with, but does make sense in this shell. I have gotten kicked around by Pioneer Spirits playing this card, and look at our threat base. We're kind of acting like Pioneer Spirits. Just play some 2-drops and some mild disruption and win the game somehow. Invasion's great. It's kind of half of a Thoughtseize. You look at your opponent's hand, you can exile a non-land card from it. As long as the card remains exile, they can cast it for 2 extra. And then once you deal 3 to this battle and flip it, at the beginning of each end step, put a +1 counter on each creature that attacked this turn. And you could sacrifice this. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. This is a powerful effect. Once you get your Esper Sentinel up to 2/2, forget about it. That's already insane. And it grows your army pretty quickly from there, solving the tiny X1 creature problem. But we're also a Daze Force of Will Swords to Plowshares deck, which can help with our X1 creature problem as well. And I made a lot of changes to the original sideboard that I saw. Just want to solve different problems. I got Deafening Silence in here for Storm. I have Graveyard Hate in here, which the original list had 1 Nile Spellbomb. Court of Cunning as a sidestep against Supreme Verdict strategies that I imagine will bother me a lot. And then just a bunch of help not dying to combo and Urza Saga decks. Speaking of Urza Saga decks, I'm going to turn one of these Mystical Disputes into a dress down right now. I recorded a video recently where Cavern of Souls on Merfolk was just GG because I had no way to interact with a Thassa's Oracle directly. This build has a bunch of discard and other soft permission. I could wasteland a Cavern if I get a window to do that. This one has more play than that deck I'm talking about, but it really felt hopeless being a blue deck with 3 counterspells in my hand and being dead to Cavern of Souls anyway. One dress down goes a long way. And this is Esper Bowmaster Tempo. Let's get into it. I'm on the draw in round 1. I do have 4 stays and a way to poke their hand. No threat, but I will keep this. There's 12 threats in the deck, plus 8 cantrips. And because we're not a Delver deck, because we're more of a mid-range flash threat deck, I don't mind keeping a hand like this one. Underground Sea from the opponent, and my thoughts are seized. They could take Daze and bet against me drawing a blue card, or they could take the guaranteed thing in Force of Will and play around Daze. Oh wow, they want Invasion of Gobakhan. They're like, forget about your Daze and Force of Will, don't care about that at all. Invasion gives me the most information and lets me play proactively. Love one of my creatures here. Brutal. No love. Just drawing more lands. It's all good. I only play 19 of them. Brainstorm in the end step. This certainly feels like Doomsday to me. Ooh, a white source. If it is Doomsday, then they're on some weird sauce. Esper mid-range Doomsday-esque decks have existed in the format for a while. Sometimes they sideboard into Monastery Mentor, and they play Teferi, stuff like that. Or this could be just something else. Cephalid Breakfast doesn't usually play Thoughtseize, but it does play every other card we've seen. Smart of them to take the card that lets me have a peek. I would not be upset to draw one of my many other discard spells here. As usual, though, Brainstorm is the best draw. Let's turn these lands into spells. Faerie Mastermind, okay. They have not seen this Underground Sea. I played out the 3 lands that they have seen now. And Mastermind can start pressuring them and being annoying. Also, if I hold up 4 mana to activate Mastermind, Thassa's Oracle becomes a risky way to win the game. Okay, here we go. Brainstorm in the end step. I'm going to start making moves. Fetch Underground Sea and play my Mastermind. I am happier with Mastermind in this spot than I would be with Bowmasters. I'd rather draw a card against this combo deck than randomly deal 3 damage to them. And they know I have Force Blue card if they want to start a fight over this Mastermind. They can't plow it once it resolves because they know I have Daze. Cool. Alright, everything is just resolving here. And I drew another land. Okay, deck, we can chill on this now. Basic Plains. Wow. This is not Doomsday. Is it some sort of Esper Tempo mirror? Are we doing the same thing here? I'd be really worried about that, because you can usually tell who's ahead in a fair blue mirror by how many cantrips are in their graveyard. And my opponent has 2 Brainstorms, a Ponder, and a Thoughtseize in their graveyard, versus my Invasion of Gobakhan, which they put there with the Thoughtseize. They have done so much more selecting and actually playing the game than I have. And now they're snapping back Thoughtseize, which I just have no counterplay for because I haven't drawn any meaningful cards this game. By the way, if I wasn't playing Esper Sentinel, I think I would have split 2 Strixes, 2 Snapcasters. It's just a lot of 2-drops. I wanted something to do on 1 mana, just more proactive 1 mana stuff. But Snapcaster also fits this 2-drop flash threat theme. Taking my Prismatic Ending, still ignoring these counterspells. Terrifying. Can I get a Brainstorm? I'll take a Ponder to start. They currently don't have 2 mana up, so if they were in some world where they're also a Bowmaster deck, then I'm safe right now. And I drew a second Mastermind. There's a Swords to Plowshares on top of my deck, and I'm just gonna pass here because I currently have Force Blue card and Daze available. They took my Prismatic Ending last turn, which makes me think they care about removal. Swords to Plowshares, disappointing. I think I have to let this happen. I just drew the replacement. If they fire off a Ponder now because the coast is clear, I jump in the other one. Staff of the Storyteller. This card's actually really tough to beat, and that's why they took Prismatic Ending. I think this is worth a Force of Will. It's going to be worth so many cards over the course of this game. And now I'm pretty sure I no longer want Swords to Plowshares. I'll flash in Mastermind, though. If they have Plow, they have Plow. But I gotta keep the game moving forward. They have perfect information about my hand right now. Okay. Upkeep, shuffle away the Plow that I don't want. Great. They're fetching in response. Okay. They waited until my upkeep. That is mostly exactly the same, I guess. 2 cards left. Hymn to Turok. Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. I mean, I don't need to get sexy with this. Let's do it. This kills Snapcaster and leaves 2 bodies in play. Deal 1 to that and amass an army. Off the top rope, here we go. I'm almost certain now this is some Esper, Bowmaster, Mirror. Unless they suddenly go Nomad Illusionist right now, which would be a crazy build of breakfast, but I guess technically possible. Heck yeah, you gotta ponder into it. This is the spot we play to. They're just out of gas and don't have much of a choice. Deal 1 to you, make my army larger. And Ponder chose to shuffle. Oh, they gotta spend another one? Yikes. I'm crawling faster. Obey your masters. Deal another 1 to you. So this thing has already done 3 damage, and there's still 4 power in play. And then ending the Bowmaster itself, leaving a 3/3 behind. This is a real creature on this board. Pretty exciting. Daze is not exciting when my opponent has 4 mana. Okay. 2-turn clock. Bummer. Absolute beating. That was the best possible card. That's also the best possible card against my deck in general. But another Bowmaster off the top right now kills Teferi. Oh my god, Force of Will, why? Why? Why would you do this? Not like this. Showing up the turn after I could have hardcasted on that Teferi. Now Teferi is out of Bowmaster range, and they're showing hardcast Force of Will. Well, I'm gonna fetch and play Faerie Mastermind. There is nothing I can do here except cast my spells thanks to Teferi. And here's the hardcast Force. I'd love to daze this right to Teferi Time Raveler exists. Another land. They didn't play a land or a creature. Fling to Dust. Alright, now they're going to start drawing multiple cards a turn. That Bowmaster was exciting for a minute, but then the opponent was able to answer it. Took multiple cards, but still, it was a good turn. Faeries back up to 4 now, where it can just bounce again. Something that I put into play. There's a Bowmaster, I'll take it. There's 1 fetchable land left in my deck. They're clinging a Ponder in response to Bowmaster. You'll want it to Teferi. Okay. Now Teferi's back to 3, where if it bounces something, it's gone. This Cling to Dust has already drawn 3 cards. Busted. Gotta shuffle. I know I don't like the cards on top. I just saw them with Ponder. Swords to Plowshare is probably not helpful. And I'm going to attack Teferi with my army. I'm not going to run Bowmasters into Snapcaster. But if they have Snapcaster, they can just plow. I can't imagine this game's winnable from here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Drew, Jason, Force of Will in the wrong order was basically the whole game. That Teferi took over everything. Drew a lot of bricks that game, though. I would like Mystical Dispute for this matchup. Flusterstorm seems reasonable. Court of Cunning might be dangerous, but I think I like it. The discard's great. I like all the land control. Days on the play is solid. I think I still want to shave a couple of those. And maybe I just don't get Force of Negation. I have Spell Pierces in the main and the Forces. That's going to have to be my fight versus Teferi. Do I cut a Swords to Plowshares? I only saw Snapcaster for creatures in their deck, and then a bunch of top-end stuff. There's a good chance they're a Bowmaster deck. But I'm still going to go -1 Plow. Oh, man. I will keep this and hope that my Ponder comes up with a black source. And or my opponent plays into Wasteland, a card that they did not see in Game 1. Okay, sweet. All of the above. If they play a non-basic, I would like to waste it and hold up Spell Pierce. If they don't, I would like him to Turok them. I guess I'll hide Spell Pierce lowest down. Okay, Thoughtseize is going to see 2 Wastelands. Hopefully that's a disappointing outcome for them. The him to Turok, obviously super gone. And begin the wasting. Spell Pierce is on top of my deck. I would like to spend all my mana on Orcish Bowmaster next turn. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll hide the second Bowmaster in case they seize me again, and I'll take the Spell Pierce now. They saw the other Wasteland. We saw Basic Plains last game. We know they have basics. There's a Ponder. And I'm just going to play the Wasteland here. They've already seen it. They've not seen any of these other cards. The 2 Bowmasters and the Spell Pierce. Or the Flooded Strand. They've only seen the Plow in my hand right now. And let's hope they have to Brainstorm to hit their land drop and just take a million. Doesn't look like it. Still, Flash deck. We're doing it. Scalding Tarn does not fetch Basic Plains. If their counterplay here is Swords to Plowshares, they're going to get wasted again. And ping you with Bowmasters. Drawing Tundra, which can plow a blocker. And I can make a second Bowmaster if I need to. And I think I'm just going to hold up Spell Pierce and plow rather than push 1 extra damage through. Because if I amass an army, the army would get 1 point bigger. I don't think I'm going to win this game by 1 point in any direction. I think it's going to be one of us locks out the other. Okay. Tundra, fetch. Thought seizing me. I'm going to respond with an Orcish Bowmaster, or I think I'm going to Spell Pierce this. Yeah, that's the line. Okay, Spell Pierce, the Thoughtseize. If they want to pay 2 for it, it taps them out for the turn, and I get to drop a second Bowmaster, and then they take my Plow that I probably don't care about, then they get wasted. It's turn 4, and I've already wasted them once, so they have made their land drop. Their Swords to Plowing my Orc in response, which means that Spell Pierce is going to work on Thoughtseize. Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm. Oh, Flusterstorm, boo. Alright, I'll respond to that with another Bowmasters, and then you can have my Plow. There's a long pause here, like they have Force of Will, and they're deciding if this is worth 2 cards. Yo, Force pitching Brainstorm. So they did have the Brainstorm. Now the stack's going to resolve, and it's going to be my army and Wasteland versus, and top of the deck versus whatever their last card is. A good card? No chance. Why would it be a good card? I'm going to take them off white. That's their removal color. And to Faerie color. They passed the turn. They could have Snapcaster. I am going to play out my land. And this Mastermind is pretty sick. The opponent's at 8. Cast a Ponder. Let's go. Feed the beast. Feed the beast. Uh-oh, Basic Plains off the top. No Teferi came out of that, though. Mastermind. Continue the pressure. I do like this gameplay. This matchup is tough. They're like us, but bigger and with better cards for the mirror. But this flash in a 2-drop gameplay is really compelling to me. And they're gonna snap, plow. Bummer. Yeah, this was a good turn to draw that Plains. Okay, that's gone. And Esper Sentinel. Don't hate that. I'll offer the trade with Snapcaster. Get this thing out of the way, please. And surprise, Esper Sentinel's a card in my deck. And they have land number 4, so who cares? Ooh, okay. Well, if you have Wandering Emperor, let's see it. Gonna him to Turok. It only gets 1 card if it gets any. Still gonna do it. Of course it's Swords to Plowshares. Just clean answers to multiple cards here. This is card advantage because him to Turok is gone for no reason. Okay, we're both hellbent. Let's party. Top deck War. Force of Will without all the mana to cast it. That does make my next land drop reasonable, though. There's your 5th land drop. We're both holding up Force now. Or you are. I'm still learning how. Wasteland is better as Waste than it is as Wasteland because of the Force. Now we're both just draw going, which favors their deck, I think. So my deck is built on flash threats. Oh, your own Orcish Bowmaster. What a surprise. I'm going to Prismatic Ending that and save my Force of Will. Having Orcish Bowmaster down already on the battlefield versus a Bowmaster mirror is a bit of a risk. Because now a Bowmaster off the top pings theirs. A Prismatic Ending. White, blue. Go after the Bowmaster. Ponder. This turns off Force of Will, but that was happening anyway. Esper Sentinel, 2 lands. These cards are all bad. Shuffle the library and get another land rewarded. Heck yeah. I wonder if this deck wants or could support Mystic Sanctuary. I mean, this is 2 games in a row where I've drawn a ton of lands, where just picking up a Ponder or Brainstorm from the graveyard would be pretty good. Okay, here's Brainstorm. I'm gonna cast it. I can Force of Will a Bowmaster if that's the card in your hand, which it's not. Cool. Okay, put back Force and the other Ponder, I guess. I do want to see what they're up to with Thoughtseize. Plague Engineer, okay. Esper Sentinel, get in. Their hand is just Scalding Tarn. And do I want to just fire off a Wasteland here? Probably. Could slow down double spelling at least. And I'll try to take them off a white source. My top card is Ponder with Force of Will under it. I'm going to keep the Ponder. Probably don't want the Force. I'd rather find a threat. There's the Tarn. Plague Engineer on Orc. That's really good for the Bowmaster mirrors. The new extended Bowmaster universe that we're living in. I'm going to fetch before I Ponder. I know I don't want Force, and I have 2 fetches. I can move them around twice. Ponder. Faerie Mastermind. In. And pass the turn. No attacks here. Cling to Dust. Targeting a Ponder. I'll let them pay for Esper Sentinel. This is the first card they've drawn this turn. So if they like fetch all their cards and immediately flashback Cling, I can Mastermind it. Which is a likely thing to do. It's what I would do with all this mana on this board. They realized what was going on and changed their mind. Fair enough. Staff of the Storyteller. Paid for Esper Sentinel. Staff's in. And they're using it right away. Time to Mastermind. And I'm going to let Mastermind trigger. And then I'm going to fetch because I don't want this card. And Spell Pierce, not really what I'm looking for on this board where they have 6 lands. Gobakhan's dope, though. Potentially dope. Maybe sucks. We'll find out together. I am going to play my land in case I want to activate Faerie Mastermind. Invasion of Gobakhan. Let's have a look. Nothing in there, just a Tundra. Fair enough. And you have a flyer now, so I guess I can't attack or do anything. Cool. Gonna fetch Scrubland and pass. There's a super awkward timing thing where activating Faerie Mastermind, which I am gonna do, I need some cards here. We each draw a card, and that draw causes Faerie Mastermind to trigger, which if they drew Orcish Bowmasters off Mastermind activation, they can put it in, kill Mastermind, and then also kill Esper Sentinel right now. Firing a Brainstorm now that Mastermind has already happened. That makes sense. Man, the Esper Bowmaster mirror around 1 of this league. Exciting stuff. But they have the build of the deck I was kind of talking about where it's slightly bigger. Like, no Esper Sentinels. They still have Thoughtseizes. They have 3 drops like Teferi and stuff. And they have the Bowmaster. Exactly the thing I just talked about. Now my whole board's dead and they get to amass 2 armies. And all of my redraws were lands. So we're about done here. This game is over. They are bigger than me. They are more resilient than me. And they have the best card in both of our decks in common with me, which lines up better against my deck than it does against theirs. I can't win this game. We can stop pretending. That was sick. Maybe I should be playing this deck. On to the next round. I hope that was inspirational, Rob. You wanted to see Esper Bowmasters? Here they are, on both sides. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the play for round number 2 with 2 lands and 3 different things to fetch in or flash in and scare my opponent with. Beautiful. Flooded Strand. Oh, it's another mirror. Savannah. It's not a mirror. 1/2 creature. What the heck? Why would you do this to me? Richard Garfield. I'm gonna plow this Delighted Halfling immediately. This is my second most exciting card from Lord of the Rings. And then third is the spell that when you scry, you can exile from your graveyard to draw a card. That card's really exciting. Ooh, they were in heavy on that Delighted Halfling. And they missed without a land drop. I'm gonna throw in a Bowmaster here. Or, no, Mastermind hits harder. Nope, they hit the same. I'm gonna play Mastermind here. Swords to Plowshare immediately. Okay. I just think that the deck with Delighted Halfling, miss your land drop, is probably more susceptible to a Flame Tongue Kavu than it is to a 2/1 flyer. Probably going to be a good spot for that. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary tapped. Pretty good. A big opportunity to cast Daze. I hope they have another plow at this point. They didn't have Daze last turn, obviously. Got him! BTFO'd. And I think I want to leave up Bowmaster rather than maximize for Brainstorm here. My opponent is stumbling and I want to punish it. If they have to ponder here to hit their next land drop, they are in trouble. Or they could draw another land, that's fine. Endurance is potentially involved now. Gonna play Bowmasters though. I got so many of these things. Flush with Bowmasters. Wasteland, cool, okay. I'll start with that and at least cut them off of Endurance before combat. Okay, you floated white. Ooh, Samwise the Stout-Hearted. I'm gonna have to read this one. 2/1 flash. When it enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target permanent card in the graveyard that was put there from the battlefield. This turn, return it to your hand, then the ring tempts you. Okay. So this comes into play. They can regrow their Savannah to their hand. I can play another Bowmaster, kill Sam, and then attack for a bunch. That's cool. And they don't get a Ring Bearer because they didn't have a creature. I recommend folks play at least one sealed deck or draft with every new set, so you at least have some idea what the ring does. I would not have any idea if I didn't play pre-release. Basically, each time the ring tempts you, your ring gets more powerful, and then each time the ring tempts you, you choose a creature to carry the ring. Oh, there's nothing good to do with this Teferi. They bounce my Mastermind, I get to kill Teferi and ping them and amass army twice. This is what I'm talking about. This is the absolute Teferi carnage that I want in Magic the Gathering. And Force of Will in this spot should just about lock the game up, I think. In for 6. Yeah. That was nice. That was a beautiful punishing of an opponent who stumbled, kept a hand on the strength of Delighted Halfling. Okay, so Delighted Halfling supports some sort of Legends package. I imagine Inskin Boo is probably among it. We saw Sam, so any weird thing could happen this game. Dress Down seems reasonable. Court of Cunning if they pile up on removal. And Flusterstorm. Daze on the draw versus a deck with Mana Dorks I'm less excited about. Yeah, I think I'm going to run it like this, at least until I see more information. Or I saw Teferi. That's good information. I should have Mystical Dispute in for that. And do I cut a Force of Will? Do I cut an Esper Sentinel? That's some awkward tension. I think I am going to cut one of the forces. Okay, here we go. I have consistently, since its printing, been unimpressed by Esper Sentinel in just fair Magic decks, and so far this league is no different. But here I am with a turn 1 Sentinel, turn 2 Hymn to Turok, and the option to wasteland them if I need to. Oh my god. Played Besage as their opening land drop. Come on, Swords to Plowshares. Court of Cunning. Okay. Besage is your opening land drop. I have a choice here, which is Scrubland, Esper Sentinel, and then him to Turok them. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way. If they play Teferi here, I at least get to draw a card. This is Teferi mana. It's also Ura mana. Okay, I get to draw a card off of that. Then Teferi has to bounce my Esper Sentinel. Then I him to Turok. And then try to recoup from there. Orcish Bowmasters, okay. I might just have to kill Teferi right now while the getting's good. If they follow up with Minsc and Boo, I'm dead. But I might just 50-50 and miss anyway. Pick off Teferi. Okay, now I can Wasteland and him to Turok next turn. I just have to hope that I survive this turn right now. No Minsc and Boo, please. Oh god, they're cracking that fourth land pretty quick. We haven't seen red mana, that doesn't mean they don't have it, but it would be nice if they didn't. Prismatic Ending, okay. I don't think there's a lot of 2 mana legends I'm worried about here. And a Brainstorm, sure. I don't think this deck is going to have Daze. Oh my god. I can get their whole hand empty right now. Or I can play Esper Sentinel and then him to Turok them down to 1 card. I don't think I actually want to Wasteland here. Yeah, I think I'm going to Esper Sentinel and then him to Turok. That way if they force him, I draw a card. Burrow into the graveyard, great. Right where I want that one. Damn it. It did take the land that casts Uro, though. Let's hope that they don't have another blue or green source in their 2 cards right now. Bummer, blue card. Once again, Uro, absolutely punishing. Honest. Him to Turok gamers, as he's done since he was printed. But I do have a deck full of white removal here. Turns out the Wasteland would have been better. Or maybe I'm supposed to him to Turok first, see if Uro hits the graveyard, and then come back with the Wasteland rather than proactive Esper Sentinel. Okay. I'm gonna Thoughtseize first. I'd like to know what they're doing over there. Flusterstorm gone. Good. Glad I did that. Now I need to find a Swords to Plowshares to stabilize this game. Prismatic Ending can do it 2 turns out. That... Okay. I mean, it's not pretty, but I'll take it. Don't shuffle, play Wasteland, play Faerie Mastermind. I'm just resolving that right now. At least when Uro attacks, I also draw a card, and then I can ending the Uro next turn. Doing a lot of cleanup work that could have been done up front here with some tighter play. Oh, they drew a blue legend of some kind. Narset Parter of Veils. Yeah, okay. That's a good blue legend. Yikes. Found a Flusterstorm, which does not counter Prismatic Ending. Also, by attacking here, they expose Narset to combat. I do get to draw 1 card per turn. I think I can take 6 from Uro here. I'd rather have an extra body to pressure Narset with. And I can waste them off blue, actually. Is that better than... Or I could start with a Thoughtseize. That's good too. Okay, I'll start with the Thoughtseize. I'd rather waste them off green so they can't refire the Uro on short notice. Wait, Uro's going to be exiled. What am I saying? Ooh, Flusterstorm and Sylvan Library. I will take the Sylvan Library, then Wasteland the blue source. They can't fluster now. Floating blue, sure. Go to combat, kill Narset. Narset, Narset, your face. And then Prismatic Ending this Uro. With the amount of basics they're showing me, plus the mana dork, I wonder if this is a back to basics deck, and if I need to worry about that. It's brainstorming into Esper Sentinel and Faerie Mastermind, you gotta do what you gotta do. I think I probably still lose if they have Minsc and Boo here. Hope that's not a card in their deck. I drew an Underground Sea, Ponder. Ponder chose to shuffle. We don't know if they have this Flusterstorm anymore. Good chance they don't, in fact. And I'm going to play Court of Cunning, becoming the Monarch here. Pretty good stuff. We're in there as the Monarch. I think I should not attack here. The Monarch will take over this game if I don't get reckless about it. And there's cycling Veil of Summer here. They just want to draw a card. And I continue drawing lands. There's really only 19 in the deck. It's been a crazy run of lands these last games we've played, the whole league so far. Look at this mana base, 4 basics. Okay, I'm gonna double block. If they have a plow, then they get the good trade here, but I'm not gonna get Faerie Mastermind in the mix. Another halfling. And we get to go to my turn, and I am gonna mill them for 10. I know they have Uro in their deck, but I want to see their deck and what's going on over here. Abundant Growth, Caracas, Endurance. More lands. Okay, deck, I get it. It's not funny. It wasn't funny the last several turns. It's not funny now. Draw for the Monarch. Okay, Brainstorm's actually a good card. Okay, I am going to Brainstorm now. There's so many good things to hit, like Bowmaster blows them out. God, do you have... This is just a Pyroblast. Please don't have Hull Breacher. Pyroblasting my Court in response. Oh, that's fine. I'm still the Monarch. Just not milling you out. They put back all these lands. And they're currently Hellbent. I'm actually going to fetch and Brainstorm again rather than plow this thing. Because I have so many good ways to blow them out. I'm going to look for one. And I've drawn so many bad cards that my hand is still full of cards I'm happy to Brainstorm away. Brainstorm again. Okay, that's a bunch of plows. Zap the halfling. I'm going to Wasteland their Boseiju. Take them off green. And then we're going to hang out with Force of Will up. Okay, cool. We did it. They had enough. That was a nice showcase of what the deck is actually supposed to do. Just little flash threads, some removal. Wasteland came up big. Good showing. Next one.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the draw versus Arkan. I'm going to keep. Arkan's a legacy streamer, could be doing anything here. But the last few times I've played against him, he's on various Elvish Spirit Guide fueled nonsense. Whether it's Atraxa, Natural Order, or Rhinoceroses. Well, looks like probably the Grixis Tempo deck, actually. Bloodstained Mire tells me this is not Izzet Delver. And this is probably a Bowmaster Mirror. Esper Sentinel's in there, though. Days. Yep. Grixis Tempo for you. And Esper Tempo for me. I'm going to play around Wasteland and pass the turn. Cool. You just have 2 of those in your opening hand. That's pretty good in this mirror match, in which this is an essential component. All right, let's get a Force of Will or Daze. Okay, cool. I will spend 2 cards on this because it's too good. Force, pitching, I think Spell Pierce should go. And now you're ready to trade with Esper Sentinel. The fact that he was unwilling to trade with it last turn, but willing this turn, makes me think that he's out of answers to it. Last turn, it's like, yeah, we can just, pick it off next turn for free. Shuffle the 3 lands, draw a land anyway. The classic BoshNRoll experience. Just verifying this is a 19 land deck and not 119 by accident somehow. Oh, okay. DRC's in. Bobble. Paying for Esper Sentinel. Very likely to get Delirium here. Yep, milling the Daze gets Delirium as soon as Bobble's popped. See the top card of my deck, which now no longer is helpful if it's Bowmasters. which is not. It's freaking blue to Delta. Obviously, just give me 2 plows off this Brainstorm deck. You owe me. Put back some lands. Playing a second Esper Sentinel here like isn't even good. They just have 2 3/3s now. Yeah, this is why I think Grixis is better than Esper, generally speaking. Oh my god. It's a 3rd Bowmaster. Cool. Because your support's better. We both have 2 of our 1-drop of choice, and theirs is killing me, and mine has done nothing for the entire game. Yep. Grixis is certainly better than Esper. They're going to have Pyroblast after board. Lightning Bolt's a great removal spell for this matchup. None of that is stuff that I have. I do have Hydroblast and Flusterstorm. Can't bring in Court of Cunning in this matchup. Not an option. This could be just a cut all the forces situation. Maybe I need to leave 1 in. Dress Down can freeze a Bowmaster for the turn. Okay, Team 0 Force of Will. Let's do it. Okay, this is a pretty good start. I'm going to keep it. And those of you who tuned into this to see Orcish Bowmasters in action, certainly getting your money's worth. Both my deck and 2 of my 3 opponents so far rocking out to that. I will keep this Daze with Spell Pierce underneath it. Let's see how being on the play with my own Bowmaster goes this time. I can master the DRC and protect it with Daze. A pretty good turn here. And we're just in there, no fight at all. Put your card in the graveyard. And here's one for you. I'm gonna Daze that. Cool. We won the small battle. Thoughtseize, cool. Let's see if we can get another Bowmaster out of the way here. Brazen Borrower, Murktide Regent, Pyroblast. I think I want the Murktide Regent gone. Because I can Spell Pierce Petty Theft on my army. Murktide is just the biggest idiot here. And I don't even care if they go land and use Pyroblast to protect Brazen Borrower. Oh, come on. I care a little bit if you just rip Lightning Bolt off the top. Annoying. It's all good. That's Magic. Deck with my Orc army. And I know they have Pyroblast. Petty Theft here. Okay, I'm gonna take the opportunity to Spell Pierce. Pyroblast land in the hand. Jesus. Harkin over here paying for Moto Premium. Yeah, I mean, this resolves. Having exactly a land Pyroblast can pay for the Spell Pierce. I'm 1 land behind because I dazed. Delver of Secrets, okay. Okay, I have a window right now to try to shove Faerie Mastermind into play, and there can't be a 2 or a 1 on top of the deck. There is a 1 on top, which means that I can't Spell Pierce back here. Oh, couldn't. Could have paid for Spell Pierce anyway. And you're trying another Red Blast. Great, great. Delver's flipping. Brainstorm's locked out. Better attack. And even if Counterbalance misses on Brainstorm, there's a Pyroblast in the hand now. Okay, I'll go for this Brainstorm and just see if we can dodge a 1 on top and overload the Reb. Unlicensed Hearse on top, okay. Here's the Red Blast, here's a Ponder. See if they want to shuffle this and get another look. Hearse doesn't actually look good here at all. Okay. Don't shuffle, play my land, get a white source, allow the Delver. We'll probably take a shuffle here. Yep, okay. Just reveal whatever your best 1-drop in your deck is. Yep, cool. Great. Okay. That was a game that occurred. On to the next round.
The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structure tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe.
I'm on the play in round number 4. I'm going to keep this hand. I can Spell Pierce on 1, Invitarok on 2, or hold up Bowmasters, whatever is necessary to do. I think I just lead on Underground Sea. I can afford to eat a turn 1 wasteland here, and I don't really want to fetch scrubland. Cavern of Souls. Cool. Naming Merfolk. Either. Oh my god. I was already prepared to just lose the Spell Pierce and get nothing out of it. But best target in the deck. And it's here. Okay, this is actually a really interesting texture for Orcish Bowmasters to be part of. I think I do want a Hymn to Turok here. If they Silvergill Adept, Orcish Bowmasters is a huge blowout, but getting some of the options out of their hand right now while the getting's good. And my hand is 2 removal spells is nice. They lost an X1, which Bowmasters could have picked off for free, and a Wasteland, which I am glad to see go. I hope they kept a 2-lander on the strength of Aether Vial and Cavern, and now they can't do anything. Oh my god, they're passing. Yeah, the perfect Hymn to Turok, the one that takes their second land drop and they don't play any spells. Should we do it again? I think so. And it's clear their hand doesn't work, but let's just keep beating down. I think Bowmasters will be better as a removal spell than as just 2 power in play. True Name Nemesis and another Hex Catcher in the graveyard. I'm going to need to actually pressure this game somehow. I'll probably Bowmaster this turn if I don't find a Mastermind. Ponder, cool. Find Wasteland, shut the door here. Another Ponder. I'll take the Ponder. Don't shuffle that. Do shuffle this. Get a Tundra, and I'm going to play Ponder. I should have left up black in case I find Thoughtseize. That was not great. I want Wasteland, and my backup plan is just play Bowmaster, but I could have played to a world where I draw Thoughtseize here. Or do I have a third hymn? I think I'm only playing 2. Yeah, there's only 2. Alright, I'm not going to draw the third hymn. Esper Sentinel 2 lands. This is not good. I'm going to shuffle it. Shuffle that. And okay, Bowmasters it is. Found a land. Let's hope they have Silvergill Adept, and I can set up my Bowmasters. Yeah. Adept revealing Lord of Atlantis. Adept resolves, and then I'm going to ping it. And then when they draw their card, I amass an army and deal 1 to them. And a 2/2 is so much better than a 1/1 versus the deck full of 2/2s on the army. Honestly, if they force this Bowmasters, and then I have to... Oh my god. Yeah, they force the Bowmasters, and then I have to Prismatic Ending on a 1-for-2 basis versus Adept. This is actually not a good spot for me. I need to get something going, despite how sick this has been so far. I need some engine here. And instead, I will continue my specialty of drawing endless lands and having no chance at all. I don't think I want to ending the Adept when I'm at 18. There's so many better creatures in their deck. Another spot where Mystic Sanctuary would be good. I don't think this is the slant of this deck you want to play. I think you want to be a little bigger, like that Teferi one we saw. God. Okay. I have changed my mind on Silvergill Adept having brick twice in a row, and they didn't play out a Lord this turn. I think just taking the pressure off for now and giving me more time later. Merfolk Trickster that cannot be dazed. But yeah, I don't think this is the correct build of this deck. I think you want to be a little bigger, a little more sturdy, like that one we played against round 1. But if you are going to play this, you should put Mystic Sanctuary in it. They drew a land. True Name me out of the game. Tide Shaper. Okay, so they have another Trickster or a Hex Catcher here. Oh my god. Well, I can't cast this Thoughtseize because they're going to flash in whatever their creature is in response. Yep, okay. I am on a short clock here versus everything they've got going on. Don't have a sweeper. What do I even have that is helpful here? Brainstorm into 3 removal spells. Oh my god. And we lost the game where my opponent did not play a card for 3 turns because they didn't have a second land drop. Okay. This build of this deck, not very good at playing from behind, which is a problem. Rest Down and Mystic Sanctuary or Mystical Dispute seem reasonable here. Daze seems like it's awful. I do have Wastelands for Caverns. Just have to, draw them in a game. Court of Cunning, pretty risky. It is a win condition when you have the board under control. Containment Priest gets ahead of Aether Vial. I think I am going to bring in Court of Cunning. So this is a deck full of flash threats and some of them have Island Walk, so yeah, maybe not. Gobakhan's a maybe. Spell Pierce does very little in this matchup. Okay. Here we are. That game one was exactly the type of game that you can take off Merfolk, but that matchup's actually awful for any sort of fair blue deck, especially ones that are trying to play from ahead. And we know they're a Wasteland deck, but I still think keeping this Thoughtseize opener is a good place to be. If they kept another Aether Vial dependent hand, try to punish it. Okay, no Thoughtseize here. Chalice of the Void. Yuck. Don't like that card. I'm going to take the Chalice, and if they go Cavern, Tideshaper, I can Wasteland the Cavern, hold up Mystical Dispute, and then start to work through this. There's the Cavern. There's the Tideshaper. They didn't kick it, so it doesn't turn my sea into an island, but I do still have an island, so it does get the stat buff. Wasteland your Cavern. Mystical Dispute works now. I drew the white source for Plow. Also my extra mana source for in case they Wasteland me. Otawara and Aether Vial. Man, my opponents this round, they're doing a lot better than me at this game, I gotta say. Can I have a prismatic ending here? Orcish Bowmasters. That does not help right now. I'm gonna brainstorm and try to find a prismatic ending before it's too late. Yeah, I kind of like all these cards, actually. Hymn to Tarak is a way to soften up Aether Vial. Maybe Mystical Dispute sucks at this point. And then I can pop Bowmasters on top and redraw it next turn. And Source of Plowshares this immediately to take the pressure off. Okay, they drew another Cavern. Yep. If I were cheating, my hand would look like this. Okay, so they can flash in Merfolk Trickster uncounterably. I'm going to get Scrubland to make sure my colors are covered. And I'm going to try to knock a couple of these lords out of their hand. Valiant Hexcatcher, okay. They can make me pay one more. And we hit both Masters. So their hand right now is Merfolk Trickster. And the creature they chose to put into play is the 1/1 that dies to Bowmasters instead of the 2/2 that doesn't. Give me that. It's Force of Will, truly embarrassing at this point. Aether Vial's active, and they drew a second Cavern. Do I want to ponder? I guess so. What am I holding out for? I don't think they're going to daze me. Hymn to Tarak and Gobakhan. These don't seem great. In Gobakhan, I can make my creatures bigger than their creatures. I can't double spell any of this, though. Yeah, I'm going to shuffle this. Ended up with a land. I'm going to pass. I'm worried about a second Lord, but I think they would have done that on their turn. I'm going to Bowmaster now in response to this Vial activation. Let's try to pick off the Hexcatcher. Pew pew. Okay, that's gone. Vial delivered the Merfolk Trickster we know about. Tap the army. That does not kill the army. Armies don't work the same way Urza Saga constructs do. Constructs are 0/0 at base that have an ability that gives them +1/+1. The army is a 0/0 at base that has +1 counters on it, and removing its abilities don't remove its counters. Just a slightly different thing. But different in an important way. A Brainstorm. Let's get rid of this Force of Will. Holy moly. Force of Will and Brainstorm can go back. Now I can Wasteland. Oh, this is actually really interesting. Okay. Force of Will and Brainstorm go back. I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Vial first. And see what they want to do about that. And then I can Wasteland the Cavern. Okay. That feels better. I'm not winning this race, but I'm also not blocking with Orcish Bowmaster. Another Vial, and they drew an island. Interesting that one of those permanents wasn't in play last turn. They passed the turn with a bunch of mana open, and they would have played their land, or they would have played their Vial. That's weird. Why wasn't that in? So this last card in their hand must be a 2-drop with Flash. Orcish on top of my deck. I'm going to leave back the Orc army at this point, as I can activate Mastermind, make them draw a card, trigger Bowmaster, and make my army big enough to eat their Trickster. I don't love giving them a card, but I do love giving me 2 cards and killing their creatures. And they saw the trick, and they're just passing. I'm still going to activate Mastermind. Feeding them cards I might regret, but feeding me cards I never regret. Bowmaster, deal 1 to the opponent. My army amasses, and now I have a big, hefty hand to brainstorm with. I think I want to ponder first. Prismatic Ending, cool. And another Faerie Mastermind. Don't shuffle. And I'm going to start with Brainstorm. And then I'm going to Gobakhan. And, oh my god, I drew another Bowmaster too. Okay. Force of Will, out of here. Faerie Mastermind, are you better than Gobakhan? I think Mastermind is better than Bowmasters. And then Prismatic Ending. Or I think I want to Gobakhan first. Because if they have Hexcatcher, I want to knock that out of the hand before they can counter Silvergill Adept, a card that is not really usable here. Tundra. Prismatic Ending. Bang. Okay, their hand is 2 lands and Silvergill Adept. I'm going to attack my invasion of Gobakhan. Sideshaper with Kicker. They get to turn one of my lands into just an island. Most of them are islands anyway, but they lose the second ability. Scrubland is a blue land now. Okay, they basically have to block Orc army now, or else it'll get too big. Attack them with Orc and Gobakhan with Faerie. I have a surprise second Faerie. They did not block. Okay, my army is going to get large. Cast Light Shield Array. And I will play out my land, because that gives me another activation of Faerie Mastermind. And put a +1 counter on. Wait. Oh yeah. This. Right. It's already counters. That's why one didn't show up. Yes, each creature that attacked. Right. Okay. Silvergill Adept is the last card in their hand that they cannot cast. They're tapping mana. Like, this works. Oh, wait. What? Where did this card come from? Weren't they just displaying 1 card in their hand? I don't know what just happened. But I'm going to flash in another Mastermind in response. So when this Silvergill resolves, it's going to die, then I draw 2 cards. Pick off the Adept. That's really weird. Was I not paying attention, or did Moto just do something very strange? I don't know. Okay. Alright, well, we got Light Field Array going. That was cool. So the key to this creature-based matchup is to draw Orcish Bowmasters. Got it. A double plow start. I'm into that. Cavernous Soul start. I'm sure they're into that. And Tideshaper. 1/1 Tideshaper. A third Swords of Plowshares. Okay. I can take some time pondering, but I do worry about Wasteland in that world. They didn't Vial, so it's harder to dance around a triple plow hand than it normally would be. I'm going to let this 1 damage through. Okay, they're going to flash in a Lord, and I'll plow that Lord. Got it. Okay, this is why we wait. Okay, this resolves. They'll probably end up sacrificing Tideshaper to save the Lord anyway, but I still like this outcome better. They plow the Lord. Oh wow. Rather than have their Lord, they wanted to deal 2 damage. Interesting. I'm just going to land pass here, because if they play True Name Nemesis, I'd like to dress down on the way in. Wasteland, disappointing. Float white. And zap this thing. And they had no follow-up play. I like that. I don't like this Daze with 2 caverns in play. They've got a flash creature, Hexcatcher. Okay. Can't do anything about that. I guess I could have dressed down in response to it. If they play an uncounterable True Name now, where they can counter it with counter my dress down with Hexcatcher. That sucks. Uh-oh, land number 3, and it's Wasteland. Well, time to dig for lands, I guess. Gonna fetch an Underground Sea. And cast Brainstorm. And if they have an uncounterable Hull Breacher, I have Swords to Plowshares for that. Alright, yeah, just wasting me in response to Brainstorm. Troublesome. Get rid of Daze, and dress down costs 2, which is a lot, but it is my best tool against their best tool. I guess I'll put back Prismatic Ending and then plow this thing in the end step. Get my shuffle, just use my mana as efficiently as I can. I have draw step plus ponder to try to hit my next landing and keep the party going. Okay, had it anyway. I'd rather leave up dress down and Mastermind this turn than dig for another land. Come on. Okay, I'll float blue. And I'll play Mastermind this turn. It's okay. We still have this double ponder situation. Keep them coming. I've been very good at drawing lands so far this league. Let's hope that continues here. And they're playing Tide Shaper, which turns off the black. But blue is the important part anyway. Another Mastermind, Ponder, land, and Bowmaster. Not shuffle. And I think I am going to Ponder again here. And I have to get Underground Sea to do it. There's only one white source left in my deck, and it's Scrubland. But I did find access to it. Okay. Is there any universe where I trade with Tide Shaper? No. Okay. Just going to attack, accept whatever comes my way this turn, and try to find another removal spell, though there's only 3 left in the deck. Mist Caller. This thing you could sacrifice, and it does like a Hallowed Moonlight kind of thing. Not super big against my deck. In fact, I don't think it does anything. Also, why are both of their lands tapped? Did they tap 2 mana for a 1 mana card? Oh, the 4th Wasteland. Alright, alright. Well, at least they're done doing this now. And my last white source is safe forever. I know my top card is a land right now. And I think I actually have to... No, holding back with Mastermind doesn't make sense, because I'm not going to block. Yeah, I should have attacked. That was just a missed attack. That was really bad. Oh, cool. It did have a useful effect in that they didn't want to trade Tide Shaper for this, which is weird because my card's so much better than theirs. So I did save 2 life by not attacking, and I didn't have to trade. If they had just attacked, I would have taken it, though. But now I know that they don't want to trade their thing that affects what I want to do. Let's get this last white source in action and play another Mastermind. Force of Will. Are you good? Are you helpful? If I Brainstorm, I think there's 1 mana source left in the deck. So there's 4 seas, 2 tundras, 1 scrub. All the white sources are accounted for, and there is 2 underground seas in the graveyard. So there should be 2 underground seas left in the deck. I think I got a Brainstorm here because this Force of Will's already a brick. Okay, well, Force of Will's a brick, and that doesn't change, but Thought sees you. I am white knuckling to the end of the game here. My life total's low. I don't really want to trade with any of their stuff. Their hand is Otawara. I'm going to attack with 1 of these and see if they want to keep leaving back the Tide Shaper. And then Bowmasters can stabilize next turn. Fingers crossed. Don't draw True Name Nemesis right now. Or Lord of Atlantis, oh no. Okay, I'm taking 1,000,000. It's bad. I'm going to have to dress down just to get some reasonable trades next turn. And lose my Mastermind in the process. I'm in at 2. Oh, am I just dead? No, I'm at 1. Ugh. That was... I mean, they play 8 of those. I'm not like, how could this happen to me? But it's still really bad. But I can at least dress down, block, trade off with 2 of these, go to 1. The Lord of Atlantis is fine. And it sucks that it's another creature, but it doesn't change what I need to do this turn. It dress down. But that actually does beat me because now the X1 doesn't die to Bowmaster next turn. That's bad. Okay, it looks like they are going to win this game right on the final turn with the runner lords off the top. Yeah, there's not one card that can stop both of these creatures here. I guess I can give them a chance to mess up. Oh, they can't even, there's not even a chance to mess up here, because if they draw a Silver Goliath, they can't play it. All right, yep. Yeah, the runner unblockable lords on the final turn, 2 turns, certainly shut me down. This matchup should be bad, though. We're just not built for this. The bigger build, again, with the Teferis, more prismatic endings, Wandering Emperors, one we saw in round 1, would be better off here. On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in the final round. I'm going to keep this hand. Thoughtseize into Bowmasters with Days Chillin' is good in a lot of matchups. If this is some Bowmaster Mirror again, we're in trouble. A basic island. Wow, that's pretty. The Portal 3 Kingdoms land with a black border because it's Magic Online. Ugh, love it. I think I'd still rather Thoughtseize than Esper Sentinel, even though I drew the White Sorcerer. I'd like to know what's going on and how I need to play against it. Oh. That's what's going on, and this is how we play against it. Storm with some disruption, but no payoff. Their black sources are not reliable here. And I'll take the Duress and just keep them guessing, I guess. There's the Valk. I don't think Wasteland is good, but it also, like... Oh, okay. That was a good draw. Okay, I'm gonna pass with Bowmasters up and hope that they brainstorm on their turn and let me do a bunch of damage and make a big creature. This might be one of the best matchups for Bowmasters as far as flash idiots you could put into play to pressure them. That line up well specifically against their game plan. I'm going to fetch Scrubland to do this because I want to be able to cast Hymn to Turok if I draw it. 1 to you, make an army. Do not draw Hymn to Turok. Wasteland your volcanic island. Play Esper Sentinel, and then sit behind Force of Will and Daze while I pressure you. This is pretty cool. And it's not a lock, but it is nice. Good setup. Oh my god. I get to draw a card, and then amass, white the army, and deal a bunch of damage to them. Gotta do what you gotta do, but hot dang. 3 to you, 4/4 coming in next turn. And if a deck can just shrug this off and beat it anyway, it's Storm. But feels good, all the same. They're not done yet, still making plays. Right now, while the Esper Sentinel has already done its business, well, maybe I'm supposed to daze that force, or that Dark Ritual, whoops. Yeah, if I lose here, it's my fault. Shit, yep. Yeah, if I daze that Dark Ritual, it's probably better. Okay, could just die here. They still have this Petal kicking around. Lion's Eye Diamond, that sucks. 2 LEDs are, yeah, we're probably dead. Dark Ritual. Storm is 6. Past in Flames. Oh wait, they're gonna have to... Oh, they're all in on brainstorming for another payout? Okay, alright, I feel a little better now. They could have hid the payout on top of the deck, and they know it's there, but the only way they have to look for a win condition now is that one brainstorm in the bin. Okay. But they did just play Brainstorm. But they shuffled since then, so they don't actually know where anything is. Okay, Storm is a million. Brainstorm, please fail. They just need to find any tutor, and they win here. But if they miss, we win. They didn't hit the concede button. That makes me nervous. Yeah, it turns out dazing that Dark Ritual, just blinking for 1 second, messed up this whole game. Oh, now you got a Ponder? Okay. So the Ponder's going to have to shuffle. They take another 1. Ad nauseam, basically non-functional here. Chose to shuffle. This is one random card off the top of the deck now. Okay, wow. I'm glad we won that game where they had to brainstorm into our Esper Sentinel and Orcish Bowmaster. That would be a tough one. Deafening Silence, Surgical Extraction, Luster Storm, Force of Negation. Mystical Dispute, I think, is fine. Just anything that's a counterspell is good. And get rid of these Swords to Plowshares. Love the discard, love the counters, love the flash threats. Esper Sentinel's kind of mid. Prismatic Ending is nice to have because sometimes they have Defense Grid or Wishclaw Talisman or Xanted Swarm, and this just covers those in a way that Swords to Plowshares doesn't. I don't think I want Serenity for this matchup. Definitely want my discard and counters. Maybe Daze on the draw I can chill out on. And one Esper Sentinel. Okay, I'm in for this. I could see going deeper on Esper Sentinel too if you want to keep your Dazes, or vice versa. Oh no, got a mulligan this handful of beautiful spells. I will keep this hand with beautiful spells in it and put, I think, Prismatic Ending on the bottom. If they get me with a Xanted Swarm, I deserve it. But that's clearly the worst card in normal circumstances. Got a Blue to Delta for basic island and a Ponder. Okay, deal. Found land number 2. Now I don't have to decide between Tundra for the guaranteed invasion or Underground Sea for the potential Hymn to Tarok. Now I just get Underground Sea. Easy money. Ponder. Mastermind, Bowmasters, Wasteland. I already have Mastermind. I don't think I have a problem with 2 of those. And if I keep this pile, then I end up with Bowmasters too. Okay, I am going to keep these. And I can decide if I'm going to invade Gobakhan or Mastermind next turn. The second Mastermind is extra blue stuff to pitch to Force too, that I don't have to feel too bad about. The Ponder. Light Shield Array is just creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible. Oh, that would be sick if it was you and little Teferi's protection on the backside of this. Nope, not how that works. Goes to shuffle the Ponder, get rid of it. If they duress me here, I'm going to plan on Gobakhan next turn. If they don't duress me here, I'll probably just hold up Mastermind. Okay, Preordained. They're still sculpting. They shuffled the Ponder. What they do with this Preordained will tell me a lot too. Top, bottom. Okay. They liked half of what they saw. Yeah, I think just leaving up all this interaction. I have Force of Will active, plus I can Mastermind or Bowmasters, or I can Brainstorm Digging for more. Brainstorm. I would rather Mastermind here than Bowmasters. I'm going to get Scrubland so I can Hymn to Tarok if I draw it. Drawing an extra card is better than amassing an army right now. Does build Storm, but they have to get through a Force of Will if they're going to beat me now. And then once I untap, I can invade Gobakhan. I drew Mystical Dispute. That's kind of a good one, maybe. It's certainly a card that I have now. And it is 1 mana interaction if I find a land off the top. It's 1 mana interaction for a subset of the cards in their deck. It might not be helpful at all on a Storm turn, but the cantrip phase of the game we're in now is when I actually want that, and they're 4 cantrips deep already, so I have concerns. Thought Seizing me. I don't want them to know what they have to beat. They might read this as, okay, coast is clear, but I need to buy another turn. If they see the coast is clear 100%, then they're definitely going for it. Okay, fetch land's getting fetched. We might see some fireworks anyway. Volcanic Island doesn't start Storm Chains, and another Brainstorm now while the Mastermind is already satiated. They've already cast 5 of the 10 or so cantrips the deck plays, which is bad news for Mystical Dispute. But I'd still like to draw the land here. Land, Force of Will and land in order are the cards I'd like. Oh no, Deafening Silence I like even better. Okay, I did hit the land. I'm going to invade Gobakhan and see what they have going on over there. Infernal Tutor, Lion's Eye Diamond. It might actually be better for them if I take the Infernal Tutor, because then they can LED with impunity. Yeah, this is a tough one. Yeah, I guess I just take the Tutor, but this is not Thoughtseize. Invasion of Gobakhan. They have plenty of mana over there. And I'm going to attack them, not my invasion. And I guess what I have to do here is let them do what they're going to do, and then try to YOLO brainstorm for a force at the end when they play the Infernal Tutor. Here they come. A second LED. Alright, yeah, they have plenty of mana. And I am deterministically deceased here if Infernal Tutor resolves. There are 5 hits in my deck, and it's time to dig for them. Oh, they passed priority on this. Well, their hand's already empty, but they didn't float LED mana, but they don't need to. This is the brainstorm. If we're doing it, it's happening now. I get Tundra, Brainstorm, looking for a 5-outer. Let's go. No love. Okay. We are almost certainly dead. Okay. Go ahead, do your thing. Like I said earlier in the league, you can usually tell who's winning one of these games by looking at how many cantrips are in their graveyard. They have 6 to my 1. Or I now have 2. I just played my second one. And the Pass in Flames is deterministic. I don't have Surgical either. Straight to the sideboard we go. On the play, I think Esper Sentinel and Daze are both better than they are in the draw. Still don't want tons of that effect. Spell Pierce is good. Still like Gobakhan, even though it didn't get me where I needed to be that game. I didn't see anything that requires Prismatic Ending. I'm going out on that. And we saw Past in Flames where Hydroblast hits it, but I don't like that against the deck that can storm out with just black cards. Oh god, Force Fairy. This hand is not good enough. I'm going to mulligan it. Oh my god, look at this hand with no friggin' lands in it. Jesus. Going to 5. Okay, I'll keep this, though I'm not stoked about it. I'll put back Mystical Dispute and one of the fairies. Is that what I'm doing? Oh, what tough mulligans. I feel like our deck is really good against Storm, too, in the abstract. If I put back Mystical Dispute, I could bottom one of the lands and just hope that Ponder gets me paid here. I think that's what I have to do. I guess if I was going to do that, I should have just kept the land and bottomed the Ponder. Okay, it worked out mostly the same. That sucks. If they duress me and just take Force of Negation, then I have Ponder on top. I can dig for Deafening Silence. If they spend some time setting up, I can try to get a Mastermind going. He chose to shuffle. Good news. Let's land go here. They know I'm the Cantrip Punisher deck. They could play around a Mastermind. Still gonna fetch Scrub land. Chasing that high of Hymn to Turok. It's in there somewhere. Okay. I think now that I have Force, blue card, I'm not going to Ponder. I'm just going to hold up the second Mastermind. One Duress does not take me off Force now. Even a Blind Cabal Therapy naming a Force doesn't get both of them. Not that that's a card that this deck plays in this era of Legacy, but just saying. And they brainstorm in my end step second Mastermind, just Divination my face off here. If any of my top 2 cards are blue, we're holding up double Force going into their turn. 2 Mastermind triggers for free. This is where Mastermind is nutty. When you're spending mana and stuff, drawing 2 for you, 1 for them, that's cool, but when this just exists in play and draws you cards for free is when it's really awesome. Now deck. I don't want to be greedy, but if these 2 draws are blue card Surgical Extraction, I wouldn't be mad. Fetching in response. Uh-oh, are they going to Dark Ritual Bowmasters me? That would be so messed up. Okay. Esper Sentinel land. Okay, we did not find the second blue card. I'm still holding up Force despite a Thoughtseize, but I'm not holding up double Force if they just have 2 ways to shove through. Oh my god. Desperate opponents just feeding me. I do love this feeling. I don't know that the leaning forward, tempo, aggro, slant of this deck is right, like I've mentioned several times, but just putting them under the gun like this and forcing them to Ponder into my nuts here. This my nuts. Pondering into my nuts. That's what they're doing. And we did find another free counterspell and another blue card for the pair of forces. Touching Volcanic Island. And Preordain. Alright, that one has already been paid out this turn. They can cantrip for free now. They bottom that. Get rid of it. Wasteland. Interesting. I think I'm going to start with a Brainstorm and see if I can come up with a discard spell or Deafening Silence. Any of the above are cool with me. Spell Pierce that Wasteland and Scrubland do not cast. Alright, I'll put back Underground Sea, and I guess I put back the Wasteland too. Because now I can play Esper Sentinel, and I'm holding up Spell Pierce, double Daze, and a Force. Or Spell Pierce, Daze, double Force. Those are all good. Land number 4. They have 7 cards in their hand. We're approaching the fireworks phase of the game. They're in the spot where every turn gets worse for them, and they need to start doing something. But they did not pay for Esper Sentinel, and I drew the Wasteland, which I didn't really want. I probably should have fetched in response to Esper Sentinel trigger, just in case they didn't pay. Yeah, actively didn't want that card. Dark Ritual. There comes a point where Spell Pierce and Daze don't do anything anymore. But they do both pitch to Force, which might be their job here. LED. And having Force of Negation is nice, because that outmuscles the Past in Flames. Okay, I'm going to Force of Will pitching Daze on this Duress. I don't want them to see the Force of Negation. If they think they can outmuscle with Piff, I want to exile it forever. Uh-oh, they also have Thoughtseize. I'm going to get Tundra and Spell Pierce this. Just trying to squeeze whatever mana I can out of them, because this is not getting better for me. I'm also just building Storm for them, which I hate. But I hope that at some point in this chain, they are out of mana to do everything they want. Like if they were lining up an Ad Nauseam here, this actually does meaningfully mess it up. So Naus from 11 probably wasn't the plan. And I'll Daze you one more time for the road here. If they can pay for all of this and then still win with the 5 mana they have left, then they got me. Gotta hope that they read this as a Desperate Flurry and not actually a protection line. Or that they just need all of their remaining mana to win. Okay, Thoughtseize was countered. We're in there. Burning Wish. This can get Tendrils and kill me, so I'm just going to counter this now. They're holding priority, so yeah, this is... They did actually need every one of those mana. They have exactly 4 at the end of this to Tendrils me with. Okay. The Faerie Mastermind is drawing a million extra cards that turn. Got it done. On the mull to 5. Okay, we beat up some decks that were not ready for Bowmasters. We lost to Merfolk, which basically every fair blue deck in history has a tough matchup with that one. And then we lost the 2 Bowmaster mirrors. Grixis Tempo and Esper slightly bigger. And yeah, I like both of those decks better than this one. Esper Sentinel, you're just not squeezing hard enough to leverage Esper Sentinel in a way that's interesting. And the Invasion of Gobakhan, I imagine with Delver of Secrets in your deck, this is better because you actually do have like the line of Delver, natural flip it, Invasion you, take your best card, flip Invasion immediately, Delver's a 4/3. That's a pretty busted start, which I did sort of move the original list that I found up half a click in size and mana value, where maybe we wanted to go up another click or 2 up into that Teferi space. Snapcaster Mage, maybe even Stoneforge Mystic, though I don't know where we'd find the room for that. That one would probably not be a Mastermind deck, and you'd have to move some stuff around. But what I did like about this deck is that feeling that holding up 2 mana, your opponent is just living in fear, because they don't know what you're going to do with it. And they know that if they ever draw a card, they're in trouble. And if you 1-for-1 an opponent enough, eventually they're going to have to cast a cantrip into all your stupid 2-drops. And that happened multiple times where it was just like onboard Mastermind Bowmasters and okay, ponder. Boom, boom. And that felt pretty awesome. There's good bones here, but definitely Dragon's Rage Chandler, upgrade to Esper Sentinel. Definitely Teferi, upgrade to Esper Sentinel. Snapcaster Mage, interesting in this spot. I will be playing a lot of Bowmasters on the channel. I own these cards now. I am no longer beholden to Card Hoarder and their availability, which they're usually great at, and they'll probably have them in the next couple days. But in the meantime, I'll be recording with Bowmaster, and we'll try out all these different shells. Rob, thank you for inviting me to play Esper. We got the bonus round of seeing 2 Esper Bowmaster decks in round 1 of this. That was pretty awesome. Good feature of what this card's capable of, both on my side and theirs. And I'm excited to play more with it. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.